Hello. Whenever I open YouTube, I always check my notifications to see what new comments people are leaving me on this channel. For the last few months, almost all of these comments have been about Irken Outcasts or Invader Zim the Musical. I am going to make an official update about the fate of the series, and I hope that it answers the three main questions that people have been sending my way, starting with the first one. What happened to Invader Zim the Musical? Or IZTM for short. This video is going to be very boring visually, by the way, because I don't really want to spend a lot of time editing this. I just want to get the information out and then go take a nap or something. The musical was supposed to be released on February 10th, as many of you probably remember. I was not directing the project anymore at this point, and the new director had agreed to a schedule where we released the video on this date. However, after one of our editors was hospitalized with COVID-19, production wound up coming to a standstill due to the heavy lack of communication on the team. We already have a very small number of editors available to help with the project. There are currently less than 10 of us to edit the entire musical, including me and Saturn, who is also in charge of all of the music. And Saturn is normally very busy. But the fact that the team couldn't get into contact with the director about the missing material or due dates just made everything more hectic. Eventually, the release date passed, and I found out that the project had made close to no progress while I was away. I recently returned as the director again, but that was hard for me to do, and I am not happy about it. This leads me into question number 2. When is the next episode of Irken Outcasts? Before I answer this question, let me clarify that I love Irken Outcasts. This was the project that let me meet most of my current best friends. It was also the series that transformed my channel into what it is now. It holds a special place in my heart, and I love the characters very dearly, even after everything that happened during the show's production. With that being said, I am going to be blunt with you. There will not be any additional episodes of Irken Outcasts. What you see in the playlist now is what you're getting, and the story will not continue from here, at least not in the traditional sense. This is because I spent about a year producing the first 5 episodes, and in that time, I had gotten pretty familiar with the community surrounding the surprisingly large fan base for this project. And if I'm going to be completely honest, it fucking sucked. Most of the Invader Zim fandom was comprised of super nice and talented people, and the Irken Outcasts fans I got to meet were normally also insanely awesome to talk to, but there was a pretty big elephant in the room during most of these interactions. This metaphorical elephant was essentially a group of younger people who joined the Irken Outcasts community at some point, usually to join the series as an artist, that very quickly decided they did not like me. They hated my guts. They didn't like me at all. This was because, despite the fact that Irken Outcasts was a volunteer-based fanfiction project, many of the younger artists in the crew seemed to have expected me to be a lot different than I actually was. They complained that I wasn't organized as a director, I was often distracted by other stories I wanted to work on, which was fair, and a lot of them also just said I was very annoying in general. Another common complaint was that I spent more time talking to my personal friend group than the rest of the team, which isn't fair. In my personal opinion, some of these people expected me to befriend and film videos with the entire Irken Outcasts team, which is an idea that I love on paper, until I quickly realized that the team was made up of over 100 people, and I was a very busy high school student preparing for college at the time. Some people would literally lurk in our private server for up to 5 months, even though they made it clear they hated me, and kept telling other crew members that I was a bad person. And when I asked if they wanted to leave, they'd take it as an attack, so I eventually gave up on asking? I hope that makes sense, because I don't want to go into that. There were people taking this YouTube series very seriously, even though it was just a fan fiction I wanted to make for fun, and it got to some bad extremes that I never want to revisit. For clarification, many of the people causing problems or drama in the community were about 13 to 15 years old, which makes sense because that means most of them were probably middle schoolers. Despite this fact, some people went very far when they tried to cancel me or potentially ruin my online career, and it made me feel very unsafe. One time, when I was accepted into someone else's Minecraft project as a voice actor, some of these kids went into their Discord server to try to get me kicked out, and they even called me a dictator in front of the server mod. The server owner saw these claims, looked at me and my stupid, nerdy YouTube channel, and then just kind of laughed it off, but I was very paranoid that now I wasn't safe from this community anywhere online. Another time, these people started a huge fight over some drama that I wasn't even remotely involved in. I wasn't even aware of the fact that anything was happening because I was busy with college at this point. But I started getting death threats and other weird messages in the middle of my history class, so I very quickly learned that something happened without my knowledge. I spent an entire week getting caught up on the situation, which turned out to be yet another misunderstanding due to poor communication, but there was a kid that took it far enough to call one of my close friends a pedophile. I'm not even going to say that word in this video, that was fucking horrible. I had already been very unhappy with the harassment I've been receiving from this group up to this point, so that incident was the final straw. I didn't want to continue Irken Outcasts. Hell, after seeing how some of the niche corners of the animation community on YouTube responded to Lucid Moon, I didn't even want to make cartoons on the internet anymore. So I stepped down and told myself I wouldn't direct projects anymore. Unfortunately, too much time and hard work has already been put into Invader Zim the musical, so I couldn't just cancel it. The artists made a lot of amazing scenes, the voice actors worked really hard on their songs, and the editors were already beginning to chip away at the final video. I told myself that this would be my final project before I officially retire from making cartoons online, for the most part, at least for any proper series. However, after seeing that IZTM is currently still in production, we both know how well that went. Sorry about the god-awful lighting, by the way. I'm just like a Goosebumps character half this episode. Half this video is just me ranting with really bad lighting and like my hair's a mess. That's a good metaphor for how I feel about this fucking video, so that's fair. I really wish that I could hand the project off to another director so it could finally be done, but after the entire project was severely delayed last time I tried to do that, I now feel like I'm forced to be the new director again. The worst part is that people don't seem to understand why I don't want to continue Irken Outcasts, and when I tell people that I formed a lot of trauma from my experience in that community, some of them literally laughed at me, so I honestly wasn't even sure if it would be a good idea to make an update video like this. The only reason I am is because a community post or an Instagram post wouldn't really have the same impact as a YouTube video on the subject. It wouldn't have the same reach. So it would just be like talking out to the void when a video would actually get your guys' attention. Which I'm hoping you're actually watching this far and listening to me, but I have no goddamn idea. This does lead us to our final question, though. Is Irken Outcasts over? Yes and no at the same time. While it is true that the YouTube series will be ending with IZTM, I still did write out a story for the entire show, and it would kind of suck if I never got to share that story with anyone after I spent so much time on it. I am planning to revive or reboot the series in another format, probably just a written story that I can upload to a fanfiction website or something, but that won't happen for a long time, a very long time. I'm still really upset about the stuff that happened in the community, and I'm also really busy with college, so I won't be writing this version of the story for a while. It would have to be a passion project, which is what Irken Outcasts was supposed to be in the goddamn first place, so, I'm currently passionate about other things, and I don't want to work on Irken Outcasts. Even with my trauma surrounding the series and the community aside, I just don't want to do it right now, and I realize that when I don't work on Invader Zim content anymore, YouTube tells me that I'm losing, hundreds of subscribers every month, but I'm not doing this for, popularity or fame. I'm doing YouTube to make things that I enjoy and share the things that I enjoy with other people, so I don't care, and I realize that some people are probably upset that I don't care because they're connected to my characters now, and they care about my story, and I, thank you for caring about my story, but please also care about what I actually want to write, story-wise, which is not this right now. Okay, so the reboot is more of a plan I have in mind for the distant future, if that makes sense. But even if the actual series leaves me with a lot of anxiety now, I still love the characters I made for the show. I'll probably redesign all the OCs and use them in another story, or the reboot, once my life calms down a little bit more. There will still be other cool content on this channel, though, and I think that there's a newer story that some of you guys might like. Even if you aren't a Minecraft fan, if you enjoyed Irken Outcasts, I heavily recommend that you check out the Loop SMP. This is a series that takes place in a Minecraft server I made with some of my friends, and the story follows a town that has been trapped in a time loop. After thousands of cycles, the time loop has started to break, and the characters are desperately scrambling for a solution to prevent their land from succumbing to a potential doomsday event. The community is incredible, all of the people in the server are awesome, and longtime fans of my channel might even recognize a few familiar faces that show up as characters in the series. I have no idea when this video is going to be released, but I will be uploading a video on my channel that summarizes the story of the Loop SMP up to this point, so you can easily get caught up on everything that you've missed without having to binge months of previous streams. I'm also going to start posting animatics again, but they're all probably going to be related to the Loop SMP storyline instead of any new cartoon or project. Some of you guys are probably disappointed about this update, but some of you might be excited as well. I don't know, honestly, but I can still promise that Invader Zim the Musical will still be the improper finale to Irken Outcasts as a YouTube series. We will eventually finish the video, probably sometime during the summer when our editing team and me have more free time in general. So be patient with us. If you want to see Invader Zim the Musical, summer, I'm going to say wait until the summer for any updates. So like, until then, please stop leaving comments about Invader Zim the Musical and Irken Outcasts in every single video that I post, even when it's not even remotely related to either of the goddamn topics. Like, I didn't even want to make a video about it, but I feel like I have to clarify what's going on because every single thing that I post receives comments about Irken Outcasts at this point, so yeah. I hope that I answered your questions, and I also really hope that you guys watch my Loop SMP summary to see if you'd be interested in that story. This has been Rainbott, who now needs to go finish preparing for their finals this week. And, I'm really fucking tired. I made a script for this video. I only kind of, like, followed it for most of this. I'm not following the script right now, if that was not extremely obvious. If you cannot tell, I'm not very happy about having to record this video, but I am hoping that it encourages you guys to check out the Loop SMP. If you like the content I make and you like the stories I like, if you like the stories I write, if you liked my characters in Irken Outcasts and the stories I wrote for them, and you didn't just watch it because it was connected to Invader Zim, you will like Loop SMP. It has a good storyline, and I'm much more proud of Loop SMP's storyline than I ever was of the storyline in Irken Outcasts. I think you will like some of the characters a lot. I don't really know. I feel like I'm pitching you guys a Minecraft series when you probably only really like cartoons. But I'm making animatics based on the Loop SMP story, so you don't even have to watch the live streams. You can just watch the animatics that I make based on that, and you'll probably get the gist either way. But, like, if you were only here because you like Invader Zim and, like, nothing else about Irken Outcasts, you might want to head out. But if you were here because you enjoyed the characters and story that I wrote in my, like, fanfiction thing, then please stick around and do give Loop SMP a chance. I'm aware that it's a cringy Minecraft thing, but hey, Irken Outcasts was a cringy fanfiction thing, so, like, give this a chance. Okay, now that I've already gone entirely off script, I'm done, I guess. Here's a rubber duck that sits on my microphone, and now the video's over, so goodbye.